Coming up, I'm going to be talking about Hawkeye not being as popular as Loki, plus some cancellations and much more. But before we get into any of that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's Tuesday. It's time to jump into some of today's Disney Plus news. There's a few little stories I wanted to jump into. First off, we have got some new information from Samba TV through Deadline about how successful Hawkeye was for its first 2 episodes. According to the data that they released, 1.5 million US households watched the first episode of Hawkeye. Slightly bit lower for the second episode, 1.3 million US households. Now that is a massive drop compared to Loki back in June, which was 2.5 million people checking out. So this is a massive drop of 40% since the release of the first episode of Loki way back in the summer. And it's actually also down on both WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, the Thanksgiving weekend might have had a big impact on that, obviously with people traveling, people not being in the normal surroundings, and it was like, obviously last year people couldn't get together. So this one was much more about people kind of coming together. So the viewing numbers might increase. Also with Hawkeye, I suspect the numbers will continue to increase right through the holiday period as more of us are at home. But also, you got to admit, Hawkeye is maybe not quite as interesting as some of the other shows. You know, there's a reason why they've never given him a solo movie and why it's taking this long to kind of give us this series. But nevertheless, I thought the first 2 episodes are great. We've got another new episode dropping this coming Wednesday. But yeah, so this one is not so good. Internationally, Samba TV reported that just under 200,000 UK households watched the first episode, 63,000 German households, and 10,000 Australian households watched that first episode. Each dropping about 3,000 viewers on the second episode, as they obviously didn't like it and decided not to come back. But obviously, you've got to also take into account the entire world. There's a lot more countries now that have got access to Disney Plus that didn't have it for Loki and WandaVision. So overall, the numbers are probably up on that, but it's not good to see Hawkeye kind of coming in much less than Loki. You would have hoped that a lot of people would have come back to watch this one. But I also feel with Loki, it was a little bit more interesting because the whole like Modiverse thing going on with that one. But nevertheless, let me know what you thought of Hawkeye in the comments below. Okay, let's jump now into some international news. If you're down in Australia, it has been confirmed that all episodes of Grey's Anatomy are going to be coming to Disney Plus from Wednesday the 1st of December. You're already getting new episodes of season 18 every week, but now you've kind of got the full range, hundreds of episodes. I really enjoyed this series. I've been watching it since the first episode, so I've been watching it a long time. Also, the latest season of The Simpsons is also going to be coming to Australia every week from this coming Wednesday, as these kind of contracts are all coming to an end, and I suspect we'll see more going over to Disney Plus as some of those existing contracts, like with Stan, etc., come to an end. But yeah, some big releases there coming to Disney Plus in Australia. We've also got some cancellation news. If you're a Hulu subscriber, and Pen 15 will not be returning for a 3rd season. It's also been confirmed that Gabby Duran and the Unsittables will not be returning for a 3rd season. Nathan Lovejoy, who plays Principal Swift in the series, revealed on his social media that there will not be a 3rd season. While on the Disney Plus side, Brendan J. McLaren, who plays Xavier in the Turner and Hooch series, also took to social media, and when asked about the fact of waiting for a 2nd season to be announced of Turner and Hooch, he said, "Don't hold your breath, you'll die," which is a really brutal way of saying there isn't going to be no more episodes of Turner and Hooch. I'm not entirely surprised with Turner and Hooch not returning for a 2nd season. I personally didn't really think it was very good. The first episode was alright, and then everything in the middle was just very bland, and then they kind of had that whole thing in the first few episodes where they're like recreating other movies like Die Hard, and then they kind of dropped that, and then they tried doing this whole love triangle thing, but it never went anywhere. I mean, I really feel like that was a show that didn't help from being under the Disney brand, because they just couldn't do anything. You know, there was, you know, no kissing, there was just no romance, there was no action really. It was just a lot of chasing around and pointing guns, but not really doing anything. So it's a shame. I know some people enjoyed it, but a lot of us weren't really surprised with it. But to be honest, I was a bit surprised that they even picked up the Mighty Ducks for a 2nd season, because I kind of felt like that one was very similar. There wasn't really a huge amount of buzz around Turner and Hooch. And as far as I'm concerned, kind of going back and doing all these reboots and series and stuff, the series really needed a lot more work to kind of catch mainstream audiences. But let me know what you think of all of these cancellations. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember to go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in another video. Laters. I'd like to thank all of our Patreon and YouTube channel members for their support. You can become a member from as little as $2 a month and you get access to our weekly Q&A and much more.